in the past year, a lot of people have wanted to do YouTube full time, especially with the way that the job market is, what's going on in the world. People want something that, for the most part, they can control. And YouTube pretty much is in your control. What you put out is in your control. How hard you work is in your control. When you work, how much you put out, all of that stuff is in your control. What's not in your control is the platform itself, the algorithm, how your audience is going to perceive your content. But I've been doing YouTube full time for a year. Coming up on my first year. November 1st, I decided that I was going to go all in onto YouTube. And before that, I always had a plan of when I was 40. By 45, I wanted to do YouTube full time. And what that entails is that YouTube is my primary source of income, or a substantial part of my income. Now, I do other things as well, but I decided that I was going to put the majority of my time and my effort into doing YouTube and making money on YouTube. Because what I was doing before is I was splitting my time between the gig economy and YouTube. And I would have to go do the gig economy because that's, you know, you get paid every week or every day if that's what you choose to do. But when it comes to YouTube, you get paid once a month. So whatever you do for 1 month, you don't get paid until the preceding month. So for instance, we get paid on the 21st of every month if the 21st is not a holiday or a weekend. So everything I did in September, I get paid for tomorrow. Everything I did in October, I get paid in November, December, January, so on and so forth. You get the point. So because I couldn't wait on, you know, I needed money like a regular person where you get paid weekly or bi-weekly or whatever. So I decided that, you know, I didn't have the time to put into YouTube like that. And then last year, something happened. And it said, I told myself, I said, Derek, this is a sign that you are able to do this full time. And what that was the month of October of 2024 was insane. It was insane. I don't like to put my revenue out there, and I'm not going to put it out now, but let's just put it like this. I made quite a bit of money in the month of October, last NFL football season. October was my best month. There was a lot of reasons for that. But the reason I wanted to make this video is because when you decide that you're going to do something, you have to be very careful. You have to take the time to think it through. You have to take the time and say, okay, you can't just plan for the now or the near future. You have to plan for the distant future as well. And for me, that was during the NFL offseason. That was this time, you know, a year from now, which is what I was saying back in October. So I was splitting my time between the gig economy, which was a life that I chose so I could be there for my son and be able to tend to him, and doing YouTube and putting the effort. And then when I was seeing that I can make more money from making videos than a full day, like one video can make me more money than an entire day of the gig economy, and specifically food delivery, because I didn't do driving. Like that's what my wife and I discussed, like, yo, I don't feel comfortable with you doing that. And I'm like, okay, deal. Then you have all these rideshare situations where insurances don't cover that. So you might have to get like supplemental insurance or something like that. I think the insurance that we specifically have does not cover rideshare. So like if somebody is in your car. So it was something, you know, I had thought about it a couple of times and decided against it. So I was doing food delivery. So I had found a catering app that was pretty good. But you had to like fight for orders. And if you weren't like the quicker to draw, man, you couldn't get orders. So anyway, fast forward, and I'm making videos. And the reason that I'm making this video in particular is because last year something happened that only happens every 4 years. And for a while, I didn't really know what was going on. I made a lot of money. So put in the comment section below, if you are in a situation where, for your situation, how much money? Well, I don't want you to necessarily do this, because then, okay, if you feel comfortable doing this, because I don't want people to be in your business and stuff like that. But if you feel comfortable putting this amount, how much money would you in particular for your situation need to make on YouTube or social media in order to say, you know what, that you could consider it being your primary source of income? Now, if you decide, because my firm belief is that you can't have your cake and eat it too. You cannot have a full-time job with no team and have a full-time capable YouTube channel. Here's what I mean. If you have a YouTube channel that is capable of providing full-time income, splitting them between your job is going to be tough. It's not impossible, but it's going to be tough. So if you work a full-time job and you have a YouTube channel that's capable of providing full-time job income, it's going to be very difficult to balance the two. A lot of people, they have jobs, full-time jobs, they walk away in favor of their YouTube channel. Not everybody does that. Not everybody has to do it. I know, for instance, for me, for what I do, it would be difficult for me to keep a full-time, like regular W-2 9-to-5 job and have a full-time YouTube channel, because it's so time consuming. Now, if you have a team and you have your own W-2 employees through your YouTube channel, then that's one thing. But here's what I realized as I ventured off into what October did for me last year was say, Derek, not only did it give me a colossal head start, I made so much money that I was able to say, you know what, that it was able to set me up for months. And I said, Derek, if you can do this in October, then you're capable of doing this all year round. Now, granted, because of what I talk about, it's not going to stay this way. It's going to dwindle down. But what I realized, and I'm glad I caught this very early on, in October of last year, specifically right around this time in October, maybe a week earlier, I mean, everything I was making $700, $500, $400, $500, $700, $600 in a day making YouTube videos. Now, I'll let you use your imagination and figure out, or not figure out, but guess how much I made, right? But it was like, wow. So I'm like, yo, this is outstanding. I would have never thought that little old me talking about what I talk about could make this type of money. So I'm like, yo, so it took me a while. So November rolls around, we get paid. So now December's coming around. And I'm like, why did I make so much money in the month of October? Why did I make so much money? I'm just so like, wow, this is outstanding. I can't believe that this is happening. If you would have, I'm just so in awe. I knew it was possible to make a few grand, but to give you an idea of how much I made, it was way more than a few grand. Like it was money that I had never expected that I could make in 1 month on one channel. You know what I'm saying? Talking about what I talk about. So right around early December, I'm like, man, what was going on? And then bing, a light bulb went off and was like, yo, oh, now I know what was happening. There was a presidential election, and they were throwing money out and what kind of tipped me off, I was in a live stream and somebody was like, yo, these political ads are insane. And I was just like, I told them, I don't choose where ads go in my videos and my live stream. YouTube does that for me. They say, hey, you want us to control it? I'm like, sure. So the ads, so I connected the dots. I said, wait a minute. It was like, because if you don't know, December is the month where advertisers throw the most ads at YouTube. They're like, yo, Christmas is coming up. We are going to, so after Thanksgiving, so essentially Black Friday through Christmas or the day before Christmas, everybody ads. It is the most lucrative month where advertisers are spending the most money. And then they spend the least amount of money the very next month in January as they recoup from all that money that they sent out in December. So I'm saying to myself, and I'm like, yo, wow, okay. That political money, that political ads was hitting different. They was hitting different. So I'm like, wow, they was just dumping money out. But thankfully, I'm not, an idiot. I'm not ridiculous with money. So it wasn't just like, oh, I didn't go insane and stuff like that. But I'm like, oh, okay, now I understand. So now what I've been waiting to do is I've been comparing the month of October this year to the month of October last year. And I'm going to tell you how much money that I'm off. The last time I checked, I was about $3,000 off. For the first couple of weeks, for about the first 2 weeks, it was neck and neck. And now I've been gone a few times. I went to a few games, but now it's about $3,000 off. $3,000 off. Now, mind you, it is the 20th. It is the 20th. The gap between where I am now and where I was this time last year is $3,000. So that tells you how much money I made. But I wasn't the only one to make a bunch of money this time last year, right? So you guys know that there is some truth without me even showing you the numbers, what I'm talking about. But it got me thinking like, yo, if you're really trying to do YouTube, or YouTube, like, because of how you get paid, of what pays you, you have to be extremely careful. And it was insane. I mean, Christmas is one thing, but even the Christmas money was not comparable to what this was. Now, on the plus side, after all that was said and done, okay, November, crazy. December, crazy. January, crazy. Yes, it dwindled down. It was bada boom, bada bing, bada boom, bada bing. It went down. It was this amount. Then it was $2,000 less than last time. Then it was $1,000 less than last time. Then it was $1,000 less than last time. And it trickled down until it was like, by the time February came, it was about half of what it was in October. And so that group, that sample size, that data allowed me to say, okay, Derek, now you have to compare last October to this October, and you'll have a really good idea of what it really looks like. Because a lot of people, they were deceived. They got caught up. Man. Last year was not the year to think that YouTube was like, you were just, depending on how much money, like if you were not smart with money, you were going to get caught up last year. And I'm not talking about anybody in particular. If you were not smart with money, and you saw the type of money that YouTube was throwing out last year, and you didn't really think about it. And that's what I was trying to get across to y'all, is that there is no overnight success stories. Sometimes there are. Those are like a needle in a haystack, where you drop a video, you go viral, you make a bunch of money, and you can maintain that. But even that person who went viral, or those persons or whoever who went viral this time last year, they still made a lot of money. They had the opportunity to keep a certain amount of money on a consistent basis. And again, I'm not talking about anybody in particular, because if you haven't noticed, I'm not talking about anybody in particular, right? So, but it got in my head, okay, Derek, you really will know your sample size. The data will be complete. And like I said, it's kind of a big deal. But if you are not smart with money, you are going to think that what happened last October was going to happen all the time, every year, every month, and all that stuff. And no, it's not, especially depending on what you talk about. If you talk about something that's relevant all the time, then you have an opportunity to make consistent money, but nothing will be as consistent as those particular occasions. Like Christmas, you're going to make the most money that you've made depending on your content, depending on how much you put out. If you start to put out a bunch of content, if you don't put out content in December, you're not going to make money, the money that you could make if you did put out content in December, because advertisers are literally throwing money out from Black Friday to Christmas Eve. They're throwing it at you, and then they're recouping that money in January, as I stated earlier. So I'm getting a really good idea. Now I'm cool, I'm comfortable. I planned for this. I did not think that this was sustainable long-term the way that I had before. Now, I'm growing financially as far as the money that I'm making. The bigger my subscriber base gets, the bigger my reach can get, the more people I have coming in watching my videos, where yes, I could get to 100K. I'm only at 30K. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm a macro influencer. And then from after 1K, you're a micro influencer. And then you are celebrity at 1 million or something like that. So I realized that if I keep growing year after year, now I'm on pace to make more money this year than I made last year. So it's been year after year of the 4 years that this channel has been, and not this channel, but my other channel has been in existence. It'll be my anniversary. I was gonna say our anniversary. It'll be my anniversary in about a week. Matter of fact, a week from today. Might have an anniversary stream, but growing year after year, you know, then this money, the money that I made last October, can be a consistent thing. So It's just, there's nothing wrong with if YouTube is your primary source of income. If it's not, if you got a side hustle, if YouTube is your side hustle, it's not, there's no winning, there's no right or wrong way to do things. If you want to have a 9-to-5 job, that's okay. If you don't and you do this, that's okay. Both of them are volatile. I want you to do me a favor. Put in the comment section if you don't mind sharing this information. You don't have to put all your details. I'm just kind of curious to know, what would it take for you and your situation? What would you, let's say you had a YouTube channel and you wanted to, you were doing content, you started to make a little bit of money and you realized like, yo, I might be able to do this full time. How much money would you have to make? Because I'm kind of curious to kind of get a feel of what my audience would need to do. How much money would you need to make for your situation to even consider YouTube being your primary source of income, which is the majority, which is 51% of your income comes from YouTube? That's what we'll do. Because if you have a majority, right, 51, 49, the majority is 51. So if 51% of your income comes from YouTube, how much money would you have to make? But I was like, let me put out this video, man, because I've got enough, as we're 3 weeks into the month of October, I've got a big enough sample size to know like, yo, okay, there was a difference. It took me a little bit of time to realize, hey, this might not be all this all the time, but thankfully I'm pretty smart with money. I pay all my bills when the YouTube money comes in. I put a little bit aside, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. So anyway, good to see you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next video.